So what if the domain I really want is taken? Well, it's very likely that's going to happen. So then you're going to have to figure out a way to buy it. And there are two different options. You can either contact the owner directly, or you can go through a intermediary that can contact the owner and buy it on your behalf for a commission if they succeed. Let's say I want to buy makeform.com. I know it's taken, so I need to find who owns it. I can go to whois.domaintools.com, type the domain I want to acquire, and look and press search. A lot of the information about the owner is public, unless they bought what they call a Whois protection guard, in which case all the data here will not be from the owner. It will be just kind of like generic data, and then you have to actually connect through an email that would send an email to the owner, and it makes it more difficult. But in most cases, people don't have this protection. So in this case, this individual, Alex Neth, owns makeform.com, and if I wanted to inquire about this domain to see if it's for sale, I could just go and send him an email or call him or something like that, and then start a conversation and start negotiating. Let's say that he says it's available. Now, obviously, no, you gotta be good negotiating, because what the first thing a good domain seller is gonna do is try to research you, find out whether you're a big company, you have money, and if you have money, then they will try to get as much as possible. And we're talking thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And your job is like buying a car or a house, trying to pay the least amount of money. So you want to make yourself look small, and in this case it's true. If you're starting a company for the first time in your life and you don't have any budget, that's the reality. And maybe if you have a good case and they don't have a lot of people asking for that domain, you will be able to get a good price, but expect to spend at least almost $1,000 minimum to several $1,000 if it's a domain that is popular, like it's short and actually sounds good. Makeform is a pretty good name, so I expect to spend several $1,000 for this name. Once you agree on a price, then the way of sending the money is not just say, here's the money, because the actual transferring of a domain can take a couple of days. You want to make sure that you get the domain. You send the money but you get the domain. How do you do this? Well, there's a company called Scroll.com, which take care very well of these transactions. What happens is that you upload the money to this company, and then the seller gets a notification saying, okay, the money that you asked for this domain, it's now in escrow. It's waiting for you. So the guy has the money. As soon as you transfer the domain, we will release the funds to your account. So once you get the domain and everything is okay, then you click, you just press a button, and then the seller will get the money. This is the best way of buying anything online, through Scroll.com. Now, let's say that you don't want to do this transaction yourself because you're not a good negotiator and you want to hire a broker. You could go to a company like Sedo.com, and then you can hire a broker, and then they'll charge you a fee to submit. What does it say here? Your credit card will only be charged $69 US broker retention fee, and then they'll our fee 50% in addition to. Okay, so you really have to read this, but they're experts in acquiring domains on your behalf, so you don't have to do through all the hassle of negotiating, but they will take a fee for doing so. At the same time, if you want to sell a domain, you can do it through a company like this, because they also are good at negotiating both ways, on your behalf to sell or on your behalf to buy. Always going to cost you. Now, let's say that you really want this domain. It was taken by a squatter. You may have a case. It's hard, but you may have a case to actually acquire the domain by negotiating. And I wrote an article because I was researching this. When I bought Grumo.com, the domain was taken by this person who owned it for almost 10 years and never really did anything. You actually can see whether a domain has been used before by going to Whois, and they will tell you But you can see a snapshot of their website. You can see how many times it's been hosted. You can go to the Wayback Machine, and then you can type any domain. Let's say makeform.com in this case, and you can see if there was actually at any given time in history there was a business associated with it. And you can see here actually in 2003 somebody was using it. Anything that has a bar, that means that actually there was a website hosted using that domain. So that's almost 12 years ago. And if we click here, we can see here, let's see a snapshot from February 9th, 2003, and that should pop up whatever was there. So in 2003 there was this very simple website. So actually somebody was using it for a legitimate purpose. But if you find out it was just a park site that Domain Squatter had, and you, let's say, trademark that name before they purchase the domains, then you may have a case. And this is complex, but I'm just pointing you to the direction that is actually doable. So here I wrote an article. And it's called How to Acquire a Domain Name from a Reseller, Brute Force versus Negotiation. And I have a disclaimer. Please, before you implement any of the following advice, do consult an experienced lawyer in domain name acquisition and disputes, and how to enforce your trademark to get a domain. So you have an existing trademark, then you can submit a UDRP claim, which is going to cost you, just to go through the whole process, at least between $1,000 and $3,000. And then if you win, you'll be able to acquire your domain for the good price. In fact, the other person may have to just transfer it to you for free if that's the case. So you'll have to pay a very reasonable amount of money for it. So just have that in mind. This is very unlikely for you to happen because you're just starting from new. But if you do have a trademark already and the domain is taken, just remember that you can actually, there's a system in place for you to put a claim and acquire that domain for a reasonable amount of money. All right. Hopefully this helps you acquiring the domain of your dreams. Good luck. Hey, did you enjoy this video? If you want to see more like this, just subscribe here. If you want a free gift, click here. Yeah. Which one is going to be the one you click? La 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 li 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 li.